Kan, you may proceed. Thank you.
My name is Shirley Kan, independent specialist who mainly worked for Congress at CRS. I'm very pleased to testify at this hearing today, partly because gaslighting is the term that I used in an article where I pointed out that the Communist Party of China, or CPC, has been gaslighting the world about Taiwan. Why is this important? This distortion of reality is political warfare. What is the bottom line up front? It is critical to counter this political warfare. This means showing Xi Jinping that his dream of national rejuvenation with its requirement to attack and annex Taiwan will become a nightmare. However, there are issues about the Trump administration and about Taiwan's opposition giving leverage to Xi Jinping. Deterrence focuses on the first island chain. However, the unspoken part of that is that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Another unspoken point is that China might try to coerce Taiwan and other countries, but that coercion is not very effective. Big and small countries have and can stand strong. However, the opposition parties in Taiwan, the KMT and the TPP, have been undermining deterrence. They have undermined and blocked President Lai's special budget in the legislature. The main opposition party, the Kuomintang, or KMT, even helps the CPC's propaganda on so-called national rejuvenation and its united front tactics. So I have a question, actually two questions for the KMT. The Kuomintang. Does KMT secretly stand for Kill Me in Taiwan? Is it the Kill Me in Taiwan party? 2, can the KMT meet a challenge to write its own national defense strategy? Now, I want to highlight the big lie that is more than just diplomatic annoyance. For years, Beijing's lawfare has been distorting UN General Assembly Resolution 2758. For years, I have called for the United States to just counter this fake news and just simply tell the truth. Resolution 2758 did not determine Taiwan's status as part of China. In fact, it is so egregious that the resolution doesn't even mention Taiwan. Now, China uses the US warning of the PLA's possible attack in 2027. Palau's courageous President Whips has explained how China uses this warning by telling countries like Palau, now 2027 is coming soon, and soon you won't have a partner, and if you don't denounce Taiwan and join with us now, you'll be left out in the cold. Now still, Indo-PACOM Commander Paparo has emphasized that we should not fixate on the date of August 1st, 2027. Why? Because defense must be strong today, in 2027, and in 2028. Now, in this context, the congressional role is critical for oversight of the president and this attention to Taiwan. On decisions, there is global uncertainty about the president's policies from day to day. I want to highlight that the TRA does not permit the president to decide alone to deal with Taiwan. On arms sales, I am concerned that the president is going back to the broken process of so-called freezes in arms sales to Taiwan, so that they're all sent up to a congressional notification on one day, like what happened on December 17th, in one so-called package, instead of routine, regular notifications to Congress, as Congress is allowed to do. On strategies, the National Security Strategy does not cite the law of the land, the Taiwan Relations Act. The National Defense Strategy does not mention Taiwan or the TRA. In fact, the Pentagon's Undersecretary for Policy, Elbridge Colby, just spoke in late January, and he talked about a stable relationship with China. But I ask, how can he say that the Trump administration respects China's proud history with its Tiananmen crackdown, genocide of Uyghurs, and the 20-year sentence for Hong Kong's Jimmy Lai? So in conclusion, I am confident that many in the United States urge the ruling and opposition parties to work in a bipartisan basis, just as our Congress works on a bipartisan basis, to protect the peace and prosperity of Taiwan, especially as we proactively prepare for the timeline looking towards 2027 and 2028. I don't have time in this opening statement to get into those details, but I'm happy to be here today. Thank you so much.